And they look that, I mean, just solid.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the garage. This week's video is talking all about Rocco and really when to use it. You know, this being the third bait in the OG line. We've had Slim, we've had Tiny, now we've added Rocco, and this one is really, you know, pretty different from both of those baits. Both of those are round bill baits, flat-sided baits, fairly tight wobbling baits. But I've talked about and, you know, discussed and caught fish in a lot of different situations on those baits. So they're obviously very versatile, but each one of these baits really have a time, kind of have a season, kind of have conditions when they are absolutely going to shine over the other. Where, you know, this one side by side is going to outcatch the other one, and Rocco definitely will have that season in your fishing as well. So that's kind of what we want to discuss in this video and really help you understand, you know, why you have a need for Rocco and when that situation is most likely going to present itself. So let's start a little bit with the characteristics of the bait itself. First, we're going to start with the front of it. Square billed crankbait. So, you know, not like a round bill where it rounds off on the front. Obviously, it's flat across the nose. If you've never fished a square billed crankbait or never fully understood what somebody means when they're saying that, that is what that is. That's referring to. I'm going to go ahead and just grab a Slim right here just to show you the difference side by side. Okay, so you can see. So the front of that bill, you know, on Rocco is straight across the nose, where on Slim it's rounded up there on the front of it, much like a spoon, where Rocco is just like you took and just cut that off. So that's a square bill crankbait. You know, fairly straight sides, comes out and just squares off on the nose. What that does, just the design purpose of that square bill, when it's wiggling and it bumps into a piece of cover, that hard edge, it's going to push it further off one side or the other. Where a round bill, it's going to allow it to just kind of glance around the side, and it's not going to go as far around something. Where that square bill hits, it's going to kick that bait more to one side or the other. So that's just the kind of the mechanics of what's going on there. Another thing with this bait, the lip angle is turned down a little bit more. We do have a line tie sitting there just on top of the nose. That's the way I like that, you know, in most of my baits, and especially in this one because we wanted a more aggressive wobble out of this bait. So steeper bill angle, line tie right in there, right tight against the nose. Both of those things create a more aggressive thump with Rocco compared to Slim and Tiny both. And then more of a round body bait, and the purpose for that is just to have more wood, more balsa wood. This one, just like all the Odds Garage baits, are balsa wood construction, and that, you know, bigger chunk, bigger volume of balsa wood allows you to add more weight to the bait to be able to cast it, but also have a lot of buoyancy with that bait. Just because, I mean, it's a pretty big hunk of balsa, and that's going to allow it to back out of that cover really well, even weighing as much as this bait does and being able to cast it well. So those are some of the purposes of it. Just the, you know, kind of the final touch on those hooks. Those are VMC hybrid trebles, just like we've got on all the other OG line, but these are number 4 short shank is what fit on Rocco best. So really good set of sticky treble hooks. But for me, knowing those characteristics, square bill, bigger chunk of balsa, harder thump, all those things. So how you're going to apply that in your fishing, the first thing that comes to mind for me, first two things, a little bit heavier cover is where you're going to be able to fish Rocco compared to Slim or Tiny. Hey, I've caught them on both of those around cypress tree knees, which are extremely snaggy places, but I'm able to fish Rocco more aggressively through those places. Like with Slim, when I won down at the Harris Chain last year, or a couple years ago on the Bass Pro Tour, I was fishing it around a lot of cypress trees, but I was having to be really cautious with it. Throw it in there, hold it up, fish the bait slow, kind of worm it through that stuff. The deal with Rocco, with that square bill, I can throw it in there, I can hold the rod tip down, and I mean, I can just grind it through that stuff, and it's going to bounce through there much more aggressively. I'll generate more bites doing that in warm water, because that bait is moving through there quick, it's scooting through there, those fish just have to react to it. It's there, it's bouncing through their house, they've got to either get out of the way or bite. And that's what you want to do with Rocco. A lot of times it's kind of that addition of speed in cover is what you're gonna generate bites with. So, like I said, those first two things come to mind: warmer water as well as heavy cover is where I really see this bait. Where it really does shine for me. So, but it's gonna work. I mean, I'll catch them on a square bill crankbait. Really, once the water gets above 50, a square bill goes in the boat. You really get to 55 degrees in that water temperature, they're in the boat all the time at that point. So that's kind of where I start fading out a little bit on my flat sides, generally speaking. Is once you get to 60 or so, I really go pretty hard away from flat sided baits and really focus more on on round body baits. There are always exceptions to that rule. That Harris chain one was a prime example for me, where the water was mid upper 70s, but yet I caught them on slim. Was able to catch the winning fish on it. So there's always exceptions to every single rule. But generally speaking, that 60 degrees, 55, 60 degrees on up throughout the summer, those are a lot of the places that Rocco's definitely going to shine. And again, just given the action, more colored water, than what you may be fishing some other crankbaits in. If I've got, probably the clearest water I'm going to throw Rocco in, it's a 5-foot diving bait. If I don't have, if I've got 3 foot of visibility or more, probably a slim chance I'm going to have Rocco, one of those tied on, because it's just not getting deep enough due to how clear the water is, as well as the fact of how aggressive that action is and that kind of thing. One exception I can already think of to that rule would be up north, smallmouth, a lot of those places, man, they'll bite a crankbait in really clear water, really, really shallow. So, if I'm going up there, I'm still going to have Rocco in the boat, probably in some crawfish colors at that point in time. So, yeah, warmer weather, warmer water, heavy cover, dirty water, those are some of the absolute best places that first come to mind when I think of fishing any square bill crankbait, but namely Rocco. Those are going to be the ones. And we've done some other videos talking about the right setup to fish Rocco on, all the different colors, and really kind of helping you select which color is going to be best for any situation, because we've got a great lineup. We've got 15 colors and plenty of different options to choose from. So be sure to check out those other videos as well. But Rocco is he's going to be a workhorse, absolutely a workhorse in your tackle box, just like he is for mine. And send us some pictures, man. I love to see pictures of what you all catch on the OG baits. So be sure to shoot those to us on Instagram or Messenger, or tag us in your story or whatever, and we'll be glad to share it. But I love to see you all be successful with a bait that I was able to design with Rapala and put in your hands. So be sure to head to Bass Pro Shops, pick them up, and definitely shoot me some pictures of it. I can't wait to see what y'all catch.